Not many artists can say that their very first record debuts at #1 on the country album sales chart. But my guest today, Lindsay Ell, can certainly say that. She went on to nab a #1 spot on the Canadian country radio charts as well, making her the first female to do that in 10 years. She's got a brand new album out called Heart Theory, and we're just tickled to have this lovely lady as our guest today on Circle Sessions. Welcome, Lindsay.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
nice
so good to see you,
You too, my friend, very much so. I love this new project, Heart
you.
Theory. I want to dive into that
Yeah.
here real soon. You've got your guitar. You're going to pick and sing for us, right?
I sure will. Yeah, don't tempt me with a good time, especially in the rhyming.
Hello. Can we go back to Canada when you were 13? I want everybody to kind of realize your story, because is Randy Bachman from Bachman Turner Overdrive a part of you under his wing, I should say?
Very much so. Yeah, Randy became like another dad to me growing up. My parents were huge classic rock fans. And so I remember the first time Randy pulled up to our house, my parents were freaking out. My mom was like running around the house, making sure it was clean. And Randy walked in with a guitar and put his feet up on the coffee table. And he's like, Lindsay, let's write a song. And from that point forward, he just became such a supporter of mine. And if they ever say, you know, somebody discovered you, I think Randy really got me off to a good start. I mean, he introduced me to so many people in the music industry in Canada, to like Gibson guitars, and really taught me how to write a song back when I was 13 and how to record in a professional recording studio. He'd just sit in the studio and play all these jazz chords up and down the neck, and I just sit there and watch him and be like, Randy, what are those things? Because I had started playing guitar when I was 8, I started playing piano when I was 6, and I learned how to play from going to bluegrass camps with my dad when I was a little girl. And so sitting in the studio with Randy when I was 13, he introduced me to the world of blues and jazz and rock. Without his influence, I don't think I would have had the same musical vocabulary.
What did you take from Randy's songwriting that you brought or that you bring to your music?
Randy was always just about songs being stories.
Stories.
I mean, he went on a tour that was called Every Song Tells a Story once, and he would tell the stories behind all of these hits, like These Eyes and American Woman and Taking Care of Business, and how those songs came to be. And they were playing in like curling rinks, and this like American Woman happened on stage. They wrote it on stage live. And so learning to write a song from Randy, it's just such a natural process from him, and yet he really was all about just telling the story. And then, you know, listening to Carole King and Joni Mitchell, like my songwriting idols, they just found a way to blend those two worlds together.
I think you do it magically. And on this new album, it's called Heart Theory. You know, you nailed it right there, girl, when you said you're right what you're feeling. You said that the last title of your album, obviously, was The Project. So perhaps this album should have been entitled The Process.
Yeah.
Explain that. I know there's a big story in there.
I feel like my first album was like me just stepping onto the scene. And it's crazy because I've been living in Nashville for 10 years, and it took me 7 years signed to a label to get my first album out. And yet I feel like I'm just starting. I feel like this is just the beginning. I do feel like this record is called The Process because over the past few years, I have written this album because of what I've been going through. You know, I was about halfway through writing the record when I'm like, I'm writing these songs in order of what I'm feeling right now. And how cool would it be to write a concept album around this process? And from beginning to end, just bring fans in and listeners in so that they can really go along this journey with me. I'm a huge nerd about a lot of things in life, a long list of things in life. But there's this thing called the 7 stages of grief. Gotcha. And it's just one way of articulating that process. Right. And so I was like, what if I wrote a record in order of the 7 stages of grief? And track 1 could be shock, and then denial, and then anger, and then bargaining. And as you listen through the tracks, you can hear me slowly unravel to the last stage of acceptance. And so that's what I did. I wrote a concept album, and I called it Heart Theory because I felt like if theory is the science of music, then this album to me was the science of my heart.
Our conversation with Lindsay Ell continues right after this.
Hey, this is Lindsay Ell. You are watching Circle. Country plays here.
We're back on Circle Sessions, Dan Kelly with Lindsay Ell, and we're going to get into some music. When you get this record and you sit down and you listen to it from the first song on the track, and I know you're gonna sing a few of them, but just sonically, I said this to you when you walked in, it's just Dan Huff wizardry, wonderful.
It definitely is.
You know,
I welcomed all forms of wizardry into my life recently. Dan Huff, I put Dan Huff's name on a vision board when I moved to Nashville 10 years ago. And I was like, one day I'm going to make a record with that man. And who knows, 8 years later, that it would finally come to fruition. Dan Huff is one of the most incredible guitar players on the planet. I mean, he's played guitar on Michael Jackson and Madonna records. And, you know, has been one of the most sought after producers in Nashville, making Keith Urban who he is, and now producing everything from Lady A to Brett Young to Kane Brown to Russell Dickerson to yours truly. So I've always wanted to work with Dan, and I've just had so much respect for what he does. He is so down to earth and just so sweet. He has no ego. And I walked out of that studio completely 180 degrees difference, being like, we're gonna make the best record ever. This is amazing. And Dan Huff became my guitar coach, as a football coach is to the team. He is my guitar coach to me playing guitar, of all things. And and he didn't even tell me necessarily what to do. I would sit down in the hot seat in the studio, and he'd be like, all right, Linz, have at her. And so I do my thing, and then he'd be like, okay, that's great. Maybe at the end of your solo, try a different ending. So he'd like guide me in a way that it was still my voice, but I was still learning his techniques. And recording this record with Dan Huff has made me a better guitar player, has made me a better singer, and an overall better artist, because he's just helped push me into those areas outside of my comfort zone. And he just does it so effortlessly, so that I'm just like in the vocal booth and I'm like, yeah, I'll sing that an octave up. Yeah, let's do it. I'll try it. What's the worst that could happen?
While I'm playing guitar too.
Yeah, let's see what happens. So recording Heart Theory has been a blast.
So that is the recording process covered in a nutshell. Beautifully done. Let's talk about the songs, the themes, as you're talking about these 7 layers of grief, which just blew me away sitting there. Can we just start at the songs that you're gonna sing today? And Want Me Back. Paint that picture and that level where you are in the 7 stages there.
So Want Me Back is a song that I wrote with Kane Brown, and I remember walking to the writing room that day, and Kane was like, Lindsay, I wanna write a song for the women. And I'm like, Kane, you're preaching to the flipping choir. So we wrote Want Me Back, and it's a song that is technically in the stage of anger, of the 7 stages of grief, because sometimes I think that anger also is inward. And I was so angry at myself for sacrificing my own inner power and my own confidence. And it's crazy when you go through certain moments of your life, how you do lose sight of those things sometimes. And I was just so angry at myself for not fully being the human that I am and letting other things, you know, push me in different directions. And so this song is all about like stepping back into that own inner power and claiming it and reclaiming that confidence. And it's been so amazing releasing it and getting DMs from fans being like, I wish I could send this to my boyfriend from high school, and
do it.
And it's just, I feel like music has the ability to lift us up and to also bring us together.
Will you do it for us?
Yes, absolutely. You always wanted what you can't have. As soon as I moved on, started missing me so bad. Saying maybe we should try again, try to get it right again. Saying, do we have to be done? Don't know why I said goodbye then. And honestly, I get where you're coming from. 'Cause if I were you, I miss my kiss, I'd miss me, keeping you up all night. If I were you, I know that losing me would make me lose my mind. You ain't gonna find nobody like me. I'm the best you ever had, and I'm always gonna be. So if I were don't wanna go back to that weekend down in LA. Bet that hotel bed ain't never been the same, babe. Damn it, we were so good then. Think of what we could have been if you'd have just tried. Cause I think that I'm worth it. I thought you were perfect, but you had your time. If I were you, I'd miss my kiss, I'd miss me keeping you up all night. If I were you, I know that losing me would make me lose my mind. You ain't gonna find nobody like me. I'm the best you ever had, and I'm always gonna be so. If I were you, if I were you, I'd want me back too. Typical, you always want what you can't have. If I were you, I'd miss my kiss, I'd miss me keeping you up all night. If I were you, I know that losing me would make me lose my mind. You ain't gonna find nobody like me. I'm the best you ever had, and I'm always gonna be so. If I were you, if I were you, I'd want me back too. I'd want me back too.
Get it, girl. We're going to continue our visit with Lindsay Ell, so don't you move a muscle. We'll be right back from the stage of the Ryman Auditorium.
Circle Network, country plays here.
And for some reason in this moment, I'm like very zen. I feel like I'm home.
I used to watch YouTube videos on it. I still watch YouTube videos of Carrie at the Opry.
As you welcome the Hot Country Nights.
And we're Temecula Road. And this is our Opry debut.
Welcome back. I'm Dan Kelly here with Lindsay Ell, getting to know more about this brand new album, Heart Theory. I want to move on to Make You. You recently shared some very protected secrets, your own description, if you will, surviving sexual violence as a little girl. What was that pivotal moment for you, Lindsay, where you said, I've got to share this, I've got to get this out, I want to give these young women or men that have gone through this something to help them heal?
I've never talked about my story as a little girl before because I never wanted it to be about a publicity statement or publicity stint. And I went to this place called Youth for Tomorrow 3 years ago. And they're an organization in the country that deals with youth who've either just gotten into the wrong situations or have been victims of sex trafficking or rape. And a lot of the kids are aged 12 to 18. And I ended up sitting in this room with 12 other little girls, and I told them every single part of my story. And we went around the room and I heard every single part of their stories. And as I talked more, they wanted to share more, and you'd hear the most horrific things. There was this 12-year-old girl sitting beside me, and she said, Lindsay, my parents sold me to a sex trafficking company when I was little. And I was like, she's 12, and she has so much light in her eyes and in her heart, and it changed me that day. I walked out of that place being like, if I don't talk about my story at this point, then I'm holding back the opportunity to help other little girls like that, or little boys like that, or grown adults, because I really do feel like this happens far more in our society than we want to admit. And so I decided that I wanted to talk about it. And it took me a minute to figure out how to write the right song, because it was just, every song I wrote about it was too dark or too deep or too heavy. And so I called up my friend Brandy Clark, who is one of the best wordsmiths in town. Yeah. Releasing this song has been such a moment in so many ways. I mean, having thousands of DMs from fans reaching out, being like, thank you for writing this, and hearing their stories. And sometimes fans will be like, this is the first time I've ever told somebody this before. And I don't take that lightly at all. And I do believe in the healing power of music. And if I can be even a little part of someone's journey or encourage them to have the courage to speak up, then I'll feel like I'm doing my job. Also, through this song, I've been able to launch my own foundation. It's called the Make You Movement. And, you know, it's focusing specifically on disenfranchised youth and survivors of sexual violence and domestic abuse. And I just really want to be an advocate for other survivors to let them know that they're not alone. Because if I would have had somebody to hold my hand as a 13-year-old girl or a 21-year-old girl and be like, Lindsay, it's okay, you didn't do anything wrong, I think I would have healed so much faster. This is probably the most important song on the record because of that.
We'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Staring in the mirror, you still look so innocent, but that was all gone yesterday. 18, you'll see it a little clearer. There's something that was taken before you could give it away. And you feel dirty, you feel guilty for what was done to you. Be a canyon in your chest for what you can't undo. It's gonna make you hate yourself when you didn't hate yourself at all. It's gonna make you build a fortress where you never had a wall. It's gonna make you question God and wonder if He even cares. 'Cause it's so messed up, it's so wrong, it's just so unfair. And when you're broken past the point of what a broken heart can take, the cracks will heal, but you'll always feel the break. And that's what's gonna make you. At 20, it hits you like a race car. It still feels like a new scar, but one that you don't talk about. At 25, you find the strength to say it. And even though you can't change it, there's peace in saying it out loud. You feel angry, you feel sad, but once you see it's not your fault. And that canyon in your chest is the little girl you lost. It's gonna make you hate yourself when you didn't hate yourself at all. It's gonna make you build a fortress where you never had a wall. It's gonna make you question God and wonder if He even cares. 'Cause it's so messed up, it's so wrong, it's just so unfair. And when you're broken past the point of what a broken heart can take, the cracks will heal, but you'll always feel the break. And that's what's gonna make you. It's gonna make you love yourself when you don't love yourself at all. 'Cause if you can get through that, there's no valley that's too tall. And all those questions you ask God are still gonna be there. 'Cause it's so messed up, it's so wrong, it's just so unfair. It's amazing where a broken heart can take you. All the things that bend and stain and break you, that's what's gonna make you. And that's you.
Lindsay, I can only imagine sitting there listening to you sing this. The people that hear this on the radio or hear this on this new record, what have folks said to you about the song?
I mean, the day we released Make You, I was just overwhelmed with so much love from even the industry, my friends. It was a really difficult day for my parents because, you know, they knew about it. It took me 7 years to tell them initially, but a lot of aunts and uncles, a lot of, you know, other family members didn't know, and you know, our church community growing up didn't know, and so it was a really difficult day for them, and I just never wanted my parents to feel that they had done anything wrong. If anything, I was like, you've raised me to be the woman I am today so that I can create this moment and make good of the things that happened to us in our lives. So yeah, the day that it came out was actually kind of a heavy day. It was just, I remember opening up my computer and reading Lindsay Ell reveal she was raped at 13 and 21 and being like, okay, so here we go. And although I was ready, like I was prepared for that, I just wasn't prepared for that. And in the same moment, I think it's the moments that we step into our true vulnerability is where the magic happens. And I have felt more connected to so many fans through writing this song and singing this song than I ever have in my life.
You gave all of those people your voice through that song.
Thanks.
They can take that message and hopefully feel some release from that. We have more with this lovely lady, Lindsay Ell, on Circle Sessions, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm Sam Williams, and welcome to Opry Rewind. On tonight's show, we meet several country artists, past and present, who talk about their early days, the significance of their Opry debuts, and offer advice to their younger selves.
They let me leave home when I was 13 years old.
Every artist got their start somewhere, and the stories vary greatly.
I kept hearing these stories about people who joined the Opry and then would never show up to play. And I didn't want to be one of those people.
Welcome to Opry Rewind.
Welcome back, Nan Kelly here, catching up with Lindsay Ell. So where in the lineup of the album is Ready to Love in this 7-step journey?
Ready to Love is the last song on the album. And it is in that final stage of acceptance because I feel like Make You is part of acceptance of, you know, accepting all of the things that have happened to us. And then also the other half of it is being able to open your heart again, which is so scary and terrifying and incredible at the same moment. And so I honestly feel like I'm in that place, and it's been a long, dark, twisty path to get there, but I'm just so grateful to be there. And
good for you.
I can sing this song with every ounce of my being because I feel like I've gone through the tunnel, I've done the work, and I've finally come out the other side at this stage of my life. And I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to love. And I wanted the album to end on a happy note. And so Ready to Love was just sort of like the cherry on the top.
Well, girl, we're at the ice cream parlor. Serve it up.
my heart would ever mend. Didn't think I'd let somebody in, no. Boy, but tonight Something about the way you look at me got me caught up in our chemistry. So I'm letting my guard down. You're doing it so right. I'm telling you right now, I think I'm ready to love again, ready to trust again, ready to put my heart back out there. If your heart is out there, I'm ready to feel again, 'cause I can feel it when, baby, your lips are almost on mine. Wish you'd kiss me all night. I'm ready to love again, yeah, yeah. I'm ready to love again, yeah, yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't terrified that one day you might say goodbye, no. But you make me wanna try it, 'cause what if we're the right fit? Something in your eyes that makes me feel like I'm ready to love again, ready to trust again, ready to put my heart back out there. If your heart is out there, I'm ready to feel again, 'cause I can feel it when, baby, your lips are almost on mine. Wish you'd kiss me all night. I'm ready to love again, yeah, yeah. I'm ready to love again, yeah, yeah. I'm letting my guard down. You're doing it so right. I'm telling you right now, I think I'm ready to love again, ready to trust again, ready to put my heart back out there. If your heart is out there, I'm ready to feel again, 'cause I can feel it when, baby, your lips are almost on mine. Wish you'd kiss me all night. I'm ready to love again, yeah, yeah. I'm ready to love again, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was great, girl. It just makes me want to wish I learned how to play the guitar.
Well, it's never too late to start.
Afraid that would take forever. How long did it take you? I know you started at an early age, but when did you say, okay, I don't want to just be known for this?
I've never really thought, like, I want to be known for playing guitar. I mean, calluses take 2 weeks, by the way.
Oh, that's
to,
it?
like, feel good.
Oh, I could do that.
But, yeah, I never really picked up the guitar and was like, I want to be known as a guitar player. I just loved it. Piano was my first instrument, and I just loved the guitar so much. There was, like, a curiosity with always learning different layers of things. And, I mean, when I heard B.B. King used to take a guitar lesson every single day, and Celine Dion, when she's, like, in her stride, she's taking a vocal lesson every single day. And I'm like, if the two of them can continuously keep learning every single day, then I sure have a lot to learn. So I've just always approached the guitar that way. And I'm like, I always just want to learn it to a deeper level. And so it never has been like, I want to be a guitar player. It's just like, I love it so much. And it's just a part of who I am.
When you play this stage the next time, I hope the world is different and this place can be full
Girl,
of people.
I cannot wait to stand on this stage in front of an audience.
I bet. What
It'll
a
feel really
treat.
good.
Thank you for spending time with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are just a wonderful human being on top of being a good guitar player. I'm going to throw that in there, but the
Thank you.
album is just lovely. Heart Theory is out right now. I hope I get the chance to be with you again, young lady.
Thank you so much, Nan.
God bless you, Lindsay Ell. Thank you for watching, everybody. We're going to say goodbye for now, but we'll see you next time on Circle Sessions.